We're live already. Paul, this is so exciting. We just mentioned the first time the tables have turned and the interviewer is being interviewed.
I know. I guess I finally talked enough that I made some friends. Who would have thought?
Totally. Yeah, I'm excited because I really, really appreciate your story. And so would you just mind telling us, your side of the Digital Revolution podcast and what it is you really do day to day?
So I am in the Army. I have been in for 3 years. I have 3 years left on my contract, and I graduated from college in 2014. Studied philosophy, which was a wonderful philosophical time. And I joined the Army because I wanted to make a difference in the world and, do the right thing for mankind. And I saw that, as a way to do that. And also, I wanted to eventually go on and join the FBI. So the military is a really good way to get into the FBI because you kind of have some sort of, prior experience and stuff like that. So, so I did that in college. I did ROTC, which is what you do if you want to become an officer in the military, which is what I wanted. And then they gave me about a 6-month break in between when I graduated college and when I would actually go to the military, when I would actually go on to active duty full time. So I had 6 months where I just lived at my parents' house and I did, I played a lot of video games and listened to a lot of podcasts. And I started to really think kind of for the first time, like, what do I really want to do? Like, what is the real purpose of my life? And I started to learn about entrepreneurship and starting a business and kind of what that lifestyle is all about. At the time, I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast a lot. That was like the first show that I ever really got into kind of on almost like a religious level. And he was always interviewing lots of entrepreneurs. And I started to think like, this actually sounds more like the type of life that I would want to have, the type of lifestyle that I would want. It also really struck me how these people were making a really big impact in the world, and I felt having like a really direct way of helping people. Like I mentioned before, I really appreciated the lifestyle design aspect of things. And I had a where my whole mindset started to shift about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be and stuff like that. But it's in this contract, and I hadn't even started yet. So I kind of thought, like, okay, I'll do my best. Maybe like it. Maybe it'll be really great. And that was 3 years ago, and I still am. This is kind of a brief overview of everything, but I'm still didn't love it when I started actually working in the military. This definitely wasn't what I thought it would be, from a day-to-day standpoint. It's much more of a desk job than people might think it is, which isn't really what I wanted to do in the first place. I actually joined the military so I wouldn't have to work at a desk, and it turns out that's all you do most of the time. So now about 2 years ago, I started to know like I had to do something else. I had to start doing something on the side, something that gave me some sort of feeling of purpose. So that's when I started getting into podcasting, because it was podcasting is one of those things where you don't have to have a whole lot of experience. You can just start a show and start talking about whatever you want. And, you can start interviewing people who know what they're talking about. You can start interviewing people who are kind of in the, stuff that in the different fields that you want to learn about. So yeah, so I started getting into that, and here we are today.
Yes, I love that. And hello, Christian. Thank you for tuning in on your lunch break. Multitasking right now, please drop a comment, because there are a lot of us like Paul that start their passion project while they're still in a full-time job, or while they're in a 6-year commitment to the Army. And this is something that's been coming up for me. I actually did a live last night, and I'm still not totally settled. Like, I still have a lot of my own ideas to work through, because creating a dream life or pursuing your passion project is not like quitting your job and moving to San Francisco for everyone, right? Like, that's what I did. And so that's why of course we had this scheduled, and of course it ended up being the perfect time for someone to come in and talk to us about the different ways that dream life can look. So you said that, this sort of entrepreneurial idea was something that you hadn't thought about before. So how are you making it work? If you do have this desk job, you have this contract, and it's not exactly what you love, how do you manage your time? How do you manage your energy? What can some of us start implementing if we're in this similar position to you?
So I wasn't always doing a great job of that. I started off doing a podcast called Trek Jitsu, which was I'm really involved in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, and Trek Jitsu was I was all about gonna be all about travel and kind of traveling around the world to different jiu-jitsu gyms and interviewing people. And although like I said, the Army isn't what I love to do, I have had the good fortune of being here in Germany with the military, which is awesome because I get to travel. So that has been a huge blessing that I'm certainly grateful for. So I thought okay, I'm here in Germany. My show will be interviewing people about jiu-jitsu in other parts of the world other than the United States. So that kind of started, that was great. And then I partnered with a friend, and we started the Matrix podcast, which was kind of what the Trek Jitsu show became. And we started a YouTube channel, and we decided that we were going to kind of start targeting hardcore members of the jiu-jitsu community and putting out content that they would love, because that's kind of who we were, people who really love Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and we were going to go down that route. But I actually stopped doing that recently because of kind of what you said, is that it was taking up too much time. I don't know if you've done a YouTube channel before, but there's lots that goes into a YouTube channel that you really need to be sitting at your desktop to do. Does that make sense? So for people like us, or people like me who are working a 9-to-5 job, I would really recommend that they try to do a business that you can do from anywhere. So for me, starting what I'm doing now, which is the Digital Revolution Facebook group and podcast, that's a much better fit because I can do that from my phone. Yeah. So try to do something that you can do from your phone, because that is gonna really save yourself a lot of headache. If you have a 9-to-5 job, do something from your phone as best as possible, because you can do that from anywhere. And blogging too. I'm going to be starting a blog pretty soon, and blogging is great because what do you need for blogging? Microsoft Word. You can do that when you're at work. So that's kind of what I've tried to do, is pick activities that you can do from your desk job at work or on your phone.
Yeah.
Those are two of the big ones that have really kind of changed around my productivity.
I love those. And you know what, though? You're frozen, Paul. I don't know if other people, I can still hear you, but your image has frozen. So hopefully if we're freezing, will someone please make a comment and let us know. Hopefully you guys are still getting all of this, because I think that is a great tip, something that I know is possible. Oh, and now he totally disappeared. Maybe he's called with us. There he is, and he's moving. Okay, good. No, that's good. I love that. Yeah, multitasking, or using your time wisely. And the other thing that I personally did, because I also, yes, like started building things on my phone and did things at work, but also becoming really good at your job. So you may be more effective, and you don't need 40 hours every week to do those tasks anymore.
That's a big one. And that's something I guess we can segue into is it's so important to have perspective. It's so important to know what you want to do. And here's the thing that I think a lot of people get stuck in if they have a 9-to-5 job and they also want to have a business. You have to prioritize. You have to really know what your priorities are. So for me, I am not out to be general of the armed forces. I'm not out to be the greatest, officer in the United States military, because that's no longer my goal. I'm not here to do a bad job. Like, I want to, do well at work, because for one, I believe in always doing your best as you can. And for two, like, you don't want to piss people off. You don't want to like get in trouble at work, so always do a good job. But I don't know, you have to prioritize. You have to know that like your business, if that's really what you want to do, if you really want to break away and do something on the side, save some of your energy. Don't work as hard as the person who is trying to become the top person at the company or something like that, or the person who really wants to get promoted. Like, you don't have to. Just prioritize. And I think that a lot of people miss that. A lot of people are trying to be the best at everything, and that's just not going to work, Yeah. Or maybe you love your job, but you want to have something on the side that's making some extra income. Yeah. That's fine too. In that case, put all of your energy into your 9-to-5 job, and then when you have time, do your side thing. You don't have to be the best at everything, and you don't have to copy the people who are, maybe instead of studying like Jeff Bezos or, Mark Zuckerberg, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you want to, keep it, don't study the top performing people in the world and do what they do. Don't listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. Find someone who's doing what you're doing and has the same goals as you, and then see what their mindset is like and go after that,
Yes, I totally agree. This idea of like prioritizing your goals, but then your energy has to align with that too, right? So like if you want to lose weight and start a business and buy a house, like you can't, I guess people do all of those things. Maybe that was a bad example, but it's not sustainable, right? To try to be the best at everything or put your whole heart into everything. And so if your whole heart isn't in your job, then start a side project. Or if your whole heart is in your job, then don't, like you said, study these full-time entrepreneurs. Yeah,
exactly. You got to know what works for you. You have to have perspective about what you really want, and that's going to help so much. It's going to save you so much time that you're beating yourself up, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, definitely. So I do want to make sure that we get to some of the tactical questions that people have, because, as you're working in the Army at this desk job, you're still mastering podcasts and YouTube channels for several different topics. So we had a few questions about like what online skills do you recommend or do you think are necessary for people in your position, right? Like they're still balancing a lot of things. They're not going to become, well, you're on your way to be Gary Vaynerchuk, but you know what I mean? The question is what sort of basic online skills do you recommend people just starting out or with other priorities start with?
Like I said, it's really good to have skills that you can do from anywhere. If you have a 9-to-5 job like I do, it's really important for you to pick the things that you can do from your job and start mastering those. So when you are at work and you have nothing else to do, but you can't leave because you have to be there till 5 o'clock, you don't want to. So in other words, what I'm saying is don't pick Photoshop, don't pick, Adobe Premiere, the video editing software. You can pick pick Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat, stuff like that, stuff that are going to be only on your phone. I think Facebook and Instagram are two of the biggest ones. For me, I love Facebook and I love engaging on Facebook. And that's been very successful for me because I like it, because I've always been on Facebook. Since it first came out, I've been on Facebook. Like, I saw your email the other day about how you don't really consider yourself a Facebooker. I do. Like, I've always loved Facebook. As soon as it came out, I was like, yeah, this is my thing. I've loved it ever since. And honestly, I haven't really liked Instagram ever. So I don't really focus on Instagram just because it's not my kind of platform.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Facebook or Instagram should be one of your main things that you focus on. So learning about ads is very important, learning about how to run Facebook ads, but also learning how to do things organically. So learning about how to write properly. Mm-hmm. Writing is going to take you so far. You can take that into all sorts of different areas. But so I think mastering either Facebook or Instagram is a good place to start.
Totally. And I love that. I think you're touching on two really important things. One, do what you like, right? Like, I hear so many people that are just like annoyed with the Instagram algorithm or can't copyright for the life of them. Well, then go start chatting with people on Facebook. Like, there's so many other ways to grow organically and from your phone or from your desk. And you have to make sure that you're enjoying it.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too, is that if you are in my position where you have a 9-to-5 job and you don't really like it, do the things in your business that you enjoy as much as you can. Don't force yourself to do something else that you hate, because the whole reason of starting a side project or a passion project, like you've been saying, is focus in on those things that you really love doing, because then that's going to make your work life more enjoyable, because you're not going to think like, oh man, I'm working here till 5 and then I'm going to be up till 2 in the morning trying to do, Instagram, even though I don't really like it, but someone told me once that I should do Instagram, so here I am.
Yeah. Don't create another job you don't like. Right?
Exactly. But that's what I was doing. I was doing that for so long, up until pretty recently, actually, just because I thought you had to do everything. I thought you had to be on Instagram, on Twitter, you had to be doing email marketing, you had to be making badass videos for YouTube. I was trying to do it all, and it's just not possible. It's not, especially when you're like me, it might be possible for me when I leave my job eventually and then I have more time, then yeah, of course, maybe it is time then for me to focus in on something that I might not like as much. But for now, I really like Facebook and I don't have that much time, so I'm just going to focus in on that.
Yeah, that balance piece. Right? No matter what your jobs are, what you're juggling, you'll always have to be mindful of the balance that you're creating. And so I just wanted to speak to this specific question because I know Rachel is working a full-time job. And another thing, so of course, doing things that you can do from your phone. But what you just said about leveraging your current position to do more of what you want or more of what you want to learn. So shameless plug, I just wrote about this for Forbes, ways that you can communicate with your supervisor or your team to be like, maybe Rachel, you want to take on some social media projects at your job, or maybe you want to practice that writing that Paul talked about by doing more, marketing campaigns or email content. So I really like that tip as well. And I think it will help Rachel, who asked this question.
Oh yeah, that's huge. That's huge. If you can somehow at your current job get into a place where you can practice skills, that is perfect. That is definitely the way to go if you can do it in any capacity.
Right, and then you'll learn if you like it or not too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Savannah also had a question related to online technologies and strategies. So what would you suggest are the 3 most necessary technologies for starting an online or coaching business? I can chime in too. Yeah.
Yeah, you are definitely the expert here. I think personally, Facebook, email marketing, and one other way of getting your word out there, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, or something like that. But personally, I really like Facebook groups. I've been having so much fun with my group, the Digital Revolution, and that has been so beneficial for me as a consultant, because that's kind of something I've started doing, is doing consulting for Facebook. So, and again, that's something that is really easy for me to do in addition to my 9-to-5 job, is consulting. Coaching is the same way. Coaching is perfect because you don't have to do, you just do your call with the client and you coach them through whatever it is they want to work on. You don't have to do a shit ton of work for them. You're not an employee to them necessarily. So I think, first of all, coaching or consulting is perfect if you have a 9-to-5 job. And I think a Facebook group is a great way to make that happen. So your group is obviously very great for you, and mine has been awesome for me. So you're gonna want that. And then email marketing as the second, because you need to start building an audience that you control. You need to start, because Facebook is always changing, Instagram is always changing. Yeah. You need to get people onto a email list. That way you can start connecting with them however you want. And then the third way, maybe YouTube or Instagram, depending on what you like. That way you just have one more way of reaching people and getting your message out there.
Yep, I agree 100%. A lot of people will come to me and be like, well, what scheduling app should I use? And should I automate my emails? And all these they could get into this nonsense. And it's all about exactly what you said, places that you can actually communicate with people and you enjoy. So for us, right, it's these Facebook groups, and I totally agree with, taking ownership of emails. So, but you can do that in Gmail, right? You can start just emailing from your account. You can schedule things with your Google Calendar, talking to them on Facebook, a real person, right? These business tools are really just life tools. And so keeping it as simple and fun as possible, Savannah, is the advice I'm hearing.
Yeah. Oh, and another one that I'll throw in there is the Kindle app on your phone. That is so important for you to start learning, to have always something available for you to learn. If you have a 9-to-5 job, I think the Kindle app for your phone, and always making sure that you have good ebooks on there that you can learn from, that is so important, because if you have a 9-to-5 job, there's going to be so many meetings where it's just taking forever, or someone's going to keep you waiting and they're going to be running late for some appointment that you have to meet them at. You're going to end up having nothing to do for 30 minutes, or your boss is going to tell you to go pick something up for them from somewhere, and you're going to be, my point is, there's lots of time where you're just sitting around waiting with nothing to do.
Right.
And if you don't have something like a book available, you're going to be like, well, this is lost time. And then what are you going to do? You're going to end up just browsing pointlessly on Facebook, or, you know what I mean? Or you're going to be bored, basically. But if you have the Kindle app, you can always have access to knowledge. You can always be learning, and that time is never going to be wasted.
Yeah.
So now whenever I'm have some downtime at work, or, I'm bored at work, basically I have nothing to do, I open up my Kindle app and I start reading about some topic that I want to start learning more about. I think
that's a good addition. I like that.
Something that helps a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a good reader, but I'm a good podcast listener. I think it's that same idea of just constantly multitasking as you can. All right, so we have a few questions here. Are you up for taking some, Paul?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So Shane, he loves what he does. He's a personal trainer, and he does want to scale something online so that he doesn't have to be tied to a specific place. So what would you say are good steps for him to start taking, as he is working in one place? I think we touched on some of it, but could you just summarize, things that Shane could start doing to scale to online?
So Shane, something you can do, Shane, is start building an audience online, whether that be through a YouTube channel or a Facebook group. Those are probably the two best that I would recommend for a personal trainer would be YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, honestly. Like I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of Instagram, but that's just my personal preference. I mean, some people love Instagram and hate Facebook. So whichever one of those you like better, Instagram or Facebook, start building an audience there, and then also do some YouTube videos, and start building an audience online. And just do that for a couple of months. Just worry about building your audience and putting out great content for them. And then eventually try to launch some sort of a product that you enjoy doing. Maybe do one-on-one coaching, or do an ebook or a paid webinar or something like that. Someone that you should really check out is a company/podcast called Barbell Shrugged. So if you've never heard of it before, they mostly serve the CrossFit community, but they have a lot of really good online programs that they have developed. So it's a podcast called Barbell Shrugged. So think like Atlas Shrugged, but Barbell Shrugged, and they are.
Shame.
Yeah, for sure. They are awesome, and they have a lot of coaching programs that you can start to model, and you can really see what they've done with their podcast and their YouTube channel. They have a really, really good YouTube channel as well, and they've actually started branching out into helping other business owners. So not only do they help athletes with coaching programs, but they also help gym business owners help scale their business. So that's a big industry too. If you really love being a personal trainer, or if you one day decide to open a gym and you like doing that, you can develop programs for other personal trainers and teach them how to get clients, or just teach them different things that you have learned throughout your time doing that. So yeah, there's a lot you can do, but it all kind of starts with building an audience.
Totally agree. 100%. There's so much opportunity to train the trainer, right? So like, even if like Shane or I don't know, okay, well, I like my job, but I want to start doing something more. Like, you're an expert to someone in something. And so identifying who are those people that you can help, and they will pay you to help you eventually, but you have to start that tribe, that following, that understanding of who you're eventually going to be able to help or to teach or to coach or whatever. Another quick point I just wanted to add, I learned recently about YouTube. So Paul, you've probably heard this a lot, like just be consistent, keep showing up, keep making videos, like Facebook will like that. Well, I learned that YouTube, they like old accounts. So even if like Shane or you, Paul, started a YouTube channel in like high school for some project you had, like go back and use that existing channel instead of starting a new one.
Yeah, I just learned that recently. Did you learn that in the Digital Nomad Accelerator group?
Yes,
From
totally.
that? Yep, that was a great interview with that guy. I forget his name. What was his name? I'm sorry. But yeah,
Mitchell and someone, yeah.
That was a dope episode. I definitely gonna remember that. Yeah, using an old YouTube channel, because YouTube ranks that higher in the algorithm.
Yeah, cool. All right, so another question here from Christian. Thank you. He prefers Facebook. Cool. Yeah, Shane, we'll get you that link in a little bit. Okay, so Christian is wondering about planning for a project like a blog or a Facebook group. Should he be thinking about how to monetize it, or should he be thinking about creating a solid product or an offer first?
Does he already have an audience in place?
I don't think so. Christian also has a full-time job.
Audience is, oh, okay. Yeah, I think personally audience is number one, building up a following of people who are going to enjoy whatever it is that you are going to produce. So I would really focus on that, creating before you even worry about monetization or anything like that. And here's kind of the benefit of having a 9-to-5 job, and this is kind of the new perspective that I've started to have. We have time. You're not like, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you have decent income, you're not desperate. You don't have to, you don't have to make a product right away. You don't have to start monetizing immediately. You know, there's some people who they lose their job or they quit their job because they can't take it anymore, and they try to, you know, you have to start making money right away. But if you don't, if you can still be in your 9 to 5 job for a little while, or if you're like me and you literally can't leave because you signed a contract, then, you know, just take the time to really build an audience, and the money will come. You know, once you have an audience and you have fans, it's going to be so easy. You know, as soon as I've noticed that, like, my Facebook group is only at like 400 people, and
that happened like overnight. I swear that was like in a couple of weeks. You know, like 300 people. That's awesome.
Hey, it's not me. It's Arnie Giske and his Facebook group course that I'm taking. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's another thing. If you guys want just to message me, if you want to learn about growing a Facebook group, send me a message and I will hook you up with some info on that. But yeah, I think if you can take the time, don't even worry about monetization. Just grow your group or grow your podcast, or grow your YouTube channel with just views. You know, just get more subscribers on your YouTube channel, get more members in your Facebook group, get more followers on Instagram, whatever it is. You know, just grow your audience, and when it comes time to make money, it'll come so easily.
It's so true. Christian's saying he just wants to start it for fun, and I think that's an amazing place to start, because you're going to talk to people who you want to. You're not going to have the pressure of like, buy my offer. This is the only service I have, and I'm trying to funnel you into it. Like, interact with them, get to know what their needs are, and then down the line, it's going to be really obvious. Like, wow, everyone's talking about needing a Facebook worksheet, or, you know, whatever. Like, it'll come to you because you'll be in it and you'll be hearing from them, and it won't be desperate or like salesy. So Christian, I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Yeah, like you said, like, starting for fun is so important. You know, going back to what I said before, don't do things that you don't enjoy. You know, if you're in a 9 to 5 job and you're trying to do something on the side, that means you might not really enjoy your 9 to 5 job. So don't take on another thing that is going to also give you more headaches. You know, just as much as you can, just do it for fun, and the money will come so much easier than you think.
Yeah, because, you know, we talked about this a little bit in the group yesterday, but money is just one form of energy. And the more energy you put into something, and it's really about helping and you're enjoying it, like, you'll get repaid in some money energy. So taking some focus off of that, like you said, if you're in the position that you do have the 9 to 5 and you are still holding on to that like value of consistency and predictability, make sure you're not just creating another 9 to 5 with whatever you do.
Absolutely. And you know, there's so many, kind of going to what you said about money as energy. You know, that's something that I really believe in.
I feel like every time we get on these calls, you like whip out like the perfect like energy. Like, so ironic that we start talking about it.
Yeah. Got a whole tool bag of tricks to get us on the energy rabbit hole. But yeah, I think that's so important too, is thinking about don't have a scarcity mindset. You know, that's something I'm really trying to work on these days, is you know, thinking that like money is going to disappear, you know, or thinking that you're short on money and acting like it is something that will result in you actually having less money. I know it sounds kind of hippie, but like whatever you are worried about and truly believe, like if you believe in your heart that you are someone who always struggles with money and never has enough money, then that will be your reality. You know, so if you start to really obsess over that and start to really think like, I got to make money right away, you will find yourself lose money, you know, and because then what you're telling to the universe, you're telling the world that you are someone who doesn't have a lot of money. And suddenly you're going to find yourself as that person. Yeah, Shane, the law of attraction. You know, so
believe, you achieve. So you can decide to say that money is stressful and I never have enough and I have to wait until I, you know, get a better job to earn money. Or you can decide, like, you know, I am abundant, no more scarcity. scarcity. Money flows easily to me. There's tons of that sort of law of attraction, things that you can just start saying. And I don't know, like it's like not even woo woo. It's just real now. Because the more people I see just changing that phrase or even just adding it, even if you don't believe it, money flows easily to me, start saying it. Let me know what thoughts come to you in the shower, because they're going to be pretty awesome. And you're going to be like, it's so easy to make money.
Yeah. I had a really weird experience today that I'll share kind of along these lines. So lately I have been kind of feeling like, man, I got to watch the money. I've been spending too much money lately. I don't have enough. And it's really been making me feel kind of stressed out, thinking about like, and I have been thinking, you know, I'm all the advice that I give is stuff that I have also been struggling with. You know, it's not like I'm a pro and, you know, I'm speaking to myself in a lot of ways too. So I've lately been feeling this. I've been feeling like, man, I should monetize the group. I should start making money, you know, and I've realized like whenever I think that way, money does actually leave, and I do start to actually struggle with it. So, my cat just broke
Things
something.
are breaking. Oh no.
Yeah,
but talk about losing money. Things start breaking, falling apart.
Cat starts knocking things off the desk. But but yeah, so anyway, so I've been in the Army now for 3 years. And in the military, you are supposed to get a raise when you are at 3 years. And I just got my paycheck and I didn't get that raise. So I was like, oh, something's wrong with the system. I've got to go check with them and see what's up. And so I went into the office today and I was talking to them like, hey, I need to get my files adjusted because I didn't get the money I was supposed to get. And they pulled up my file and they were like, oh, actually, you are in a basically like a special program where you've always been earning a little bit of extra money and you're actually on a different pay plan than everyone else. And I'm not going to get into like the technical talk of what exactly is going on. Like, long story short, I'm on a pay plan than other people, and I'll get my raise at 6 years instead of 3. But the long story short of it was like I've already been earning more money than most people in my rank. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it kind of struck me like what am I doing worried about money? I'm already existing in a place where I'm already earning a great amount of money. You know, my cat's literally knocking things off the desk, so I'm not paying attention to him.
That's such a good mindset, though, right? Instead of that,
yeah, and I still, so I kind of stopped and realized, like, oh, and I also thought, like, honestly, my job is pretty easy these days. I do have enough time to do my business on the side, and I get paid pretty well. So I was thinking, like, money is coming to me. What am I worried about? Like, I'm already earning a decent amount without even having to do much, and
gratitude
I hope that
so far.
Yeah, I hope that long story demonstrated what I was trying to say. But like, basically, just reminded me that like, yeah, I am earning a decent amount of money. Money is coming and going, and whenever I spend it and it goes out, that just means more is coming in.
Right.
And I think that starting to really understand that is going to be very meaningful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can make any story we want about money. Whether it's like, oh, like, I didn't know that, I'm ripped off, I probably had to pay taxes on all that extra money they already gave me and I don't have it now. Or like, wow, I've been fine this whole time and I'm going to continue to
exactly.
be. Okay, I just want to, Shane, mind the mind. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're talking about. One note I just want to add that I recently, because I had a moment, just like you said, I'm teaching the things that I'm going through as well, talking to myself a lot. And so I recently felt like my savings was way too low. And I was like, all this money is going out. Like, I've been getting by to like pay everything, but like, whoa, I've never had this low of a savings account. And I kind of freaked out and I called my coach and she helped me realize that like if you had you know, sitting in your savings last month. What would you have now? And I was like, well, I get some interest. She's like, yeah, about 30 cents. Like 30 cents is what you'd earn on that $3,000, but it's been out in the world. You've been investing in programs, you've been traveling. And so like, what do you have? And I'm like, well, way more than 30 cents from spending that $3,000 instead of sitting on that $3,000. And so, yeah, thinking of it as, right, like it's energy, it'll come to me, but also it's flowing in and out. And like, you know, most of us are always taken care of. And if you're not, then it's a flow. It's an ebb and a flow. It's just another type of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And remembering that, like, there's been so many times in my life where I have been short on money, and guess what? I'm still here. Things are fine. I still have plenty, you know. So yeah, I think that that is really important to start training your mind to think about these things properly, you know, in a way that will attract more into your life, and then you're not going through life in a place of scarcity.
Yeah, that's not fun. It's not fun at all, but it's easy to do, right? Like we are kind of like innately, we need to be looking for more all the time and like surviving, and like that mindset just doesn't serve us anymore though, because we do have, especially if you're on this stream and you have like access to listen to us talk about how money is energy, like you're going to be okay. I can just about guarantee it. You're going to be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're the type of person who listens to these podcasts, you know, you're gonna be fine. You're on the right track.
Yes, and I cannot thank you enough, Paul. I don't want to capitalize on too much of your time here, but we will definitely continue this conversation. And you guys, Paul is full times a week now in his group, the Digital Revolution. So if you haven't joined that, be sure to go check out what he's talking about. And yeah, I think we'll do this again, Paul, because we've got a lot more to talk about.
I think so too. I would love to. Thanks for having me. And if you guys want to learn the toolkit that you need to become a digital revolutionary, go to my group and I'll see you there.
Yes.
And
if you're drop comments, Paul is definitely an active member of this group, and I'm sure he'll be checking in to see, you know, if you guys have questions later today, later this weekend. Because yeah, we're again real people here to answer your questions and get to know you. So
real ass people. Never been more real than this.
Cutting in and out with a cat, talking about being broke. I love it. Not broke. We're not broke.
Not broke. We are. Money is flowing in and it's flowing back out.
That's right. Yes.
Like it does.
All right, my friend. I think is it Friday night or Saturday night for you?
It's Friday night.
Woo! All right, go enjoy.
I will. I'm gonna write some content and go to sleep.
Perfect. Living the dream. Living the dream. I love it.
It's awesome. I love my life. And I'll see you soon.
Yes. Thank you, friend.
Thank you.